Headline news most affecting Chilliwack this week. As ZZ Top once sang, we're waiting for the bus. Well, it is coming slowly. Two more drownings, one in Cultus and the other on the Vedder River. It is bye-bye to the Harrison Ice Rink, and it's all official. The Pacific Junior Hockey League graduates to Junior A. Gavin Parks will have more in sports. Our guest this week will include the president of CUPE 561, and we will break down the bus strike as the buses get back on the road. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. The 124-day transit strike is over. The drivers' union, CUPE 561, made public the information last Friday. Almost 65% approved the agreement. That included a wage hike for parity with other bus drivers, as well as a pension plan. Now, this is a 6-year deal. It ends in 2026, so this is retroactive to 2020. Handy Dart Services will be the first to be beefed up. News of the Week reached out to the union if they wanted to comment on the agreement with their employer, First Transit. Randy Coote is the president of CUPE 561. He's going to join us for an interview in just a few minutes' time. Recent drownings have once again put out the appeal for water safety, and ironically, these were days before the International Water Safety Day. A 22-year-old man went under in Cultus Lake. His body has not been found yet. A 55-year-old angler drowned in the Vedder River. Now, with Cultus, there were posters put up around Cultus Lake criticizing recovery efforts by search and rescue and the RCMP dive team, and we will not show you a copy of that poster that was put up in the community. Trans Mountain anticipating at least 10 days worth of work at the Kettle Valley Road trenchless crossing in Hope. This will include a short temporary closure of the cul-de-sac at the end of Birch Tree Drive in Hope. TMX is also continuing their trenchless work. That crossing is in Chilliwack at Chilliwack River Road. RCMP have updated the files on an axe attack. That was in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven on Yale and Williams in Chilliwack. That happened back on July the 15th. Now, the Mounties confirmed 2 women were in a fight. It happened about 3 in the morning. This was a targeted attack. The female victim was, quote, axed in the back of the head by another woman, and store staff called 911. After that, victim came into the store bleeding from the head. The victim is going to be okay. Now, the attacker fled the scene. If you have any information or even dash cam footage, you're asked to contact RCMP. What was once a great idea that cost the village of Harrison $17,000 is going to melt away. Well, the plastic will be put away. At the last Harrison Committee of the Whole, the mayor and council voted 3-1 to cancel all the future projects associated with the skating rink and then advised staff to try and sell it. Now, Councillor and former Mayor Leo Fascio was the only one to vote in favor of saving this rink. Back in November, Council directed staff to compile a revenue report for the upcoming skating season. It didn't look good. Starlight Skating Rink lost about $17,000. It only made about $1,400 in revenue. The setup and the takedown were the biggest expense, about $14,000. That also included the rink attendant labor, the repairs and the maintenance and the insurance and the concessions. And of course, COVID didn't help with turnout, and the novelty basically wore off. Chilliwack Pride Festival is coming up on August the 19th. The Fraser Valley Festival is actually this weekend in Abbotsford. And now, for the first time for Chilliwack, that will be on a Saturday. And coming up in a couple of weeks' time as we get closer to the Chilliwack Pride Festival, we will be talking with Executive Director Terry Westerby. Coming up in sports, we are going to take a look at what's going on with the graduation of the Pacific Junior Hockey League to Junior A. News of the Week continues, and we have been going through one of the longest bus strikes in the provincial history. Randy Coote is the president of CUPE 561. Randy, again, a big thank you for joining both chillTV and abbyTV on this. I know we can't get too much into detail, but how tough was this bargaining that brought us to the point where legendary mediator Vince Reddy was brought in? Was that your idea? Was that First Transit? Was that the minister? How did that come together?
Yeah, it was the minister that appointed Vince Reddy. It was originally to be a 10-day mediation, and all parties agreed that it needed an extension. So it ended up being a 6-week mediation, very thorough, in-depth mediation by Mr. Reddy, and he did a fantastic job.
The nuts and bolts of it, it was, what was the big sharp end of the stick? Was it the wages? Was it the pension? Or was it a 50-50?
It was both the wages and pension, the entire compensation package. Like we had said all along, that we were 32% behind the rest of the transit workers across the Lower Mainland. And even while we were in the dispute, our folks at Coast Mountain and Unifor, they signed a deal with a significant increase too that put them even further ahead. So yeah,
There's a
wages, pension.
Yeah, there was a lot of criticism that First Transit is American, and did that actually pose a problem? Because there's that perception that obviously goes out in social media.
No, I mean, the problem was that we were far behind, and there was a large gap that needed to be closed, and it's a challenging thing to do in one round of bargaining. But that gap continued to grow over time, and our members had just had it at this point, and they were that's why they chose to go on strike to get back in line with the rest of the transit workers in the region.
A lot of people have been tripped up over the fact that it's a 6-year deal, but it ends in 3 years. Obviously, 3 years in retro. Now, is that for the wages and the pension plan? Is that to bring it all to catch up, or how is that going to work?
No, there is retro for those 3 years that we were without a contract, yes, but pension doesn't start until April 1st of 2024 with a 3.5% contribution by employer and employee, and then that goes up to 5% the next year.
How is this rollout going to work? Because as we speak, we're still waiting, to quote ZZ Top, as we did at the top of the show, waiting for the bus. We're still waiting for the bus. But a lot of people forget that you've had a fleet of buses that haven't moved for 4 months. You got to make sure they're ready. I would assume that's part of it.
Absolutely, that's the big part of it right now. I can tell your mechanics are working tirelessly overtime to get these buses ready, and that is the big piece. And there's some training pieces too. There's a little refresher when drivers haven't been driving for a while too. There's a little bit of a training piece there too. But I can tell you the employer is working very hard, and we're working hard with them to make it happen as soon as possible.
Again, there's the magic line of as soon as possible. Do we have a hard date, or is it still where you've got to wait for everybody to do the safety checks?
I imagine that the employer will be sending something out to the residents, letting them know. I think it's going to be soon, but it's really the employer's role to get that out to the residents. But it's going to be soon. We're working very hard on it, I can tell you.
The elephant in the room, though, Randy, as soon as you guys get back on the road, your drivers are going to get an earful from some of your customers. I would assume you're already prepping everybody to say, look, nod and smile, I would think.
I'll be honest with you. I think the earful they're going to get is just good conversation and interactions, because we've had nothing but support from the member. I know you may have had some frustration, and we understand that very much. But I can tell you, we have had overwhelming support from the members of these communities, and we thank them more than I can tell you. And I believe that it's the interactions that our members have missed very much so. And so I think everybody's going to be happy to have everybody back.
Is there anything I'm missing? Is there a point that you wanted to make sure that that got across? Because we really haven't been able to talk to you because you've been in negotiations.
No, I can just end it off with saying that we appreciate very much the work of Mr. Reddy and the employer and all parties getting this done. And sometimes these are difficult times, but the process worked in the end, and we've got a deal that's fair. It was a fair compromise for all parties.
News of the week, speaking with Randy Coote, who is the president of CUPE 561. A big thank you on this. Thank you. Thanks again.
You bet. Thank you.
And you're watching News of the Week.
Hi, I'm Gavin, and this is Sports. 2 weeks ago, it was a rumor that you heard about on News of the Week. It is now official. The Pacific Junior Hockey League will join the Vancouver Island and Kootenay leagues and move from Junior B to Junior A. This will affect the Abbotsford Pilots, Mission City Outlaws, and the Chilliwack Jets. More details are expected in the coming weeks before the start of the regular season. News director Don Lehn spoke with the Chilliwack Jets owner and GM Clayton Robinson about the new setup. The interview is coming up in a few minutes. The Women's World Cup of Soccer is underway in Australia and New Zealand. With over 1 million tickets sold, the Women's World Cup could be the most attended standalone female sporting event in history, according to FIFA. Ahead of the tournament, new statistics by Casino.ca reveal which 2023 Women's World Cup players are the most searched for in North America. Chilliwack's Jordan Heidema at number 1 and Abbotsford's Sophie Schmidt at number 5. Yes, we are into the summer heat, but soccer is not far off. Chilliwack FC registration is open for the fall 2023 through 2024 season. This is open for youth born 2020 through 2006, U14 through U18. There is something for everyone. Registration closes August 15th. BC Football Conference starts the regular season this weekend. The Valley Huskers play host to the Langley Rams, 7 p.m. at Exhibition Stadium in Chilliwack. Check both teams' social media for ticket information and, of course, new merch. 2 new beginner pump tracks are coming to Chilliwack. One will be at Vedder Park and one will be at Jinkerson Park. Construction is estimated to complete by the end of the year. The request for proposal from the city of Chilliwack saw a budget of $600,000 to build the 2 novice tracks. It's another race day at Agassiz Speedway this Saturday, with the gates open at 4:30 and racing 2 hours later. This includes the Minis, Late Model, Hornets, Sprints, and the AMCA IDCC Dwarves. And here's that interview with Don.
News of the week continues with Clayton Robinson, who is the owner and general manager of the Chilliwack Jets of the Pacific Junior Hockey League. We're not talking just the Jets or the Abbotsford Pilots or the Mission City Outlaws. We're talking the whole league. That the Pacific Junior League is going to graduate to Junior A. We were just talking off air, Clayton, about how intense this was putting this all together. When did you actually start conversations? Because it literally out of the blue, we heard that the BC Hockey League was going to go indie. There were the criticisms with Hockey Canada, and then all of a sudden, what? You're going to go Junior A? How did that? What was the timeline?
I think our league's been working on it for like quite some time now. We weren't sure what was going to happen, but we did hear rumors about the other league leaving Hockey Canada. So yeah, we've been working or been in discussion with BC Hockey since beginning of probably end of last season. So,
the end of last season. Okay.
Yeah, like I'd say since December. So yeah.
Right. I understand it's a tier system, or am I mistaken on this, that it's kind of like a soccer graduation system, or how's this thing going to work? Because you've got 3 leagues, not just the one,
Right.
and then eventually you're going to have, I would assume, a BC champion and then go on to regionals and then whatever would be the national championship.
Yeah, so I think right now everybody's at the tier 2 level. That being the starting point. I think it's going to develop over time, and it's going to take years to get to the point where we have a tier 1 team going to like a national championship. Yeah, but it's a process, right? Like we're giving a spot where BC kids play at the highest level in the province, and we're going to grow it and hopefully keep kids in BC and have a place where homegrown talent can play hockey. That's the plan. And eventually teams will have there'll be certain criteria teams will have to meet. If they meet those criteria, they'll have an opportunity to apply to be a tier 1 franchise.
I would assume that maxing out is at the age of 20 then for players?
20, yeah. Yeah, same as Junior A Hockey Canada rule, 20 years old, 9 20-year-olds. So that's a change in our league. PJHL previously said unlimited 20-year-olds. We'll be limited to 9 per team now.
Okay. And what about bringing in international players? I would assume there's a ceiling there, or is there?
I'm not. There's no. Americans will be allowed. There's a limit. Europeans they're not allowed. So
yeah.
Similar to what before.
The other thing, too, that a lot of people don't realize is this also affects referees. So, how is that going to work? Do you have to recruit, or are you able to bring guys in, or do you have people that are already in that just say, "Here, get the skates on, let's go"?
Yeah, nothing really changes for us. We fall under BC Hockey and Hockey Canada, so they have referees that are in their program and are staying in their program that want to move up the ranks to go to the WHL or the NHL or AHL or whatever, and they're in their program, so they'll be doing our games next year.
There's been some comments from the WHL that they seem to be very, very happy with the way this has been folding out. When it comes to the bottom line, and that's paying the bills, how are the sponsors? How has the response been on your end? This is where you take off your general manager hat as a hockey team and then put on the business hat, going, okay, we got to go to national sponsors and regionals and get those ad dollars in to pay the bills. How's the response been?
Yeah, the response in our town, Chilliwack's been great. They've always supported us really well. I think we've always had a real local field to our team, and we're going to keep it that way. I think we want to support Fraser Valley athletes. I think Abbotsford, Chilliwack, Langley, Mission, wherever. Those are the players that we're looking for. Kids coming up from the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds program or Yale Academy, even Chilliwack Minor Hockey. We want a place where we can develop players and move them on to the next level. And speaking of the WHL, we hope that relationship becomes fairly strong, and I think they're really supportive of the new league coming in, and we hope we become a league where they want to place their young prospects to play before they jump to the WHL level.
Since we are on both chillTV and abbyTV here, how has the response been with Abbotsford Minor Hockey, Chilliwack Minor Hockey, Langley Mission? Everybody seems to be on board?
Yeah, Chilliwack Minor Hockey was supportive. We did get a support letter from them to move forward and pursue the Junior A application. So that was good. I can't comment on the other minor hockey associations, but I know Chilliwack's been supportive of us going to the Junior A level.
And have you been able to talk to anybody from the other two leagues, the Kootenay League and the Vancouver Island League? Because this is not a small proposal. One league is one thing. You got three. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, the KA and the PIDGE and the VA have all been in the conversations all along together. It's evolved to all three of us going, and I think we'll see how it ends out. I think there will be some sort of a tiering system. Some teams will want to stay the way they've operated all along at the same level. Some will want to increase their standards and go higher and go for the national championship. I think it'll all play out the next couple of years, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, and you noted a specific there where a lot of fans want stuff now, but this is not a 1-year process. I would think this is going to be a few years.
Yeah, we can't. The comments are just changing the name from B to A. Well, initially, I think it is doing that, but I think the plan is there's definitely going to be increased standards. We're going to operate more professionally. We're going to increase our level of standards for the players, for the experience, to get to the tier 1 level for sure.
Clayton Robinson, again, a big thank you for taking time out, because I know you've been one busy guy. Let's stay in touch on this, because this is actually very, very exciting for hockey, not only in British Columbia, but on the national scale, because everybody is going to be watching this as it develops. Right. Again, a big thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll talk to you later.
And you're watching News of the Week. chillTV weekend weather, Carrie. So we're back to sun after that quick rain shower earlier this week.
The weather this week, yes, it's going to be back to summertime. Sunday's a little blip, but other than that, we have great temperatures coming for the beginning of August. Highs in the high 20s, 27, 28, back down to 16 in the evening so we can cool off a bit. Fact of the week, July has ended with 21.3 millimeters of rain, 19 of them happening on Monday alone, which is about half of the regular 42.5. So yes, it's been a very, very dry and warm summer so far. So remember your sunscreen, but have a great weekend.
Thanks, Carrie, and thank you for watching. If you have a local story that you want us to report on, all you have to do is send us a note to news@chilltv.ca, and don't forget to send us your pictures and your video. Thank you for watching, and have yourself a great weekend. I'm Don Lehn.